Hi guys, welcome back, and we have some new settings in my YouTube channel, and we haven't done that before yet, ever since. And it is since this semester first I recognize that we I haven't recognized in the master course, but I first noticed that we got the preview and the review lecture. I was always think that review is the seminar papers and articles and in academic sense and etc. But this time, I finally know that is something about review. Review the lecture and instead of just review the articles and papers and etc. So I do a fast review about this education economics, um, and to say what I captured yesterday between 12 o'clock to 14 o'clock. That is in Heza 108, and from my perspective, and we shouldn't say that much redundant content instead of straightforward to what is important. And there are RCTs, as you guys know, that is not G. RCTs, random control trials. It is recent year very famous experiment, especially in behavior economics, but not very restricted in the behavior economic sense. Instead of it's kind of like poverty research and um, especially like in Africa continent and those kind of area when the like United States top universities coming through and to um, do some practice relevant research like random control trials. It's not the medical experiment. Instead of it is kind of like thought experiment in that you can put your patient, so called patient, but it's actually not. And so that is running this kind of random control trials. I was intended to do that before last year or last year, but I haven't achieved that moment. The reason is that this kind of RCT needs a lot of samples, so to say, and that you are not able to do that within the 20 to 30 people's group. And so you need a big database and to run that, like, let's say 3,000 samples and etc. I haven't had any other intention about to say samples. Samples can be anything like um, like substance objectives or the dynamic beings, for example. And then the first lecture, the professor has mentioned a lot of times like methods. Methods is the module name that is from before last semester. That was method, economic method theory, and so yeah, this could be it could be very funny and interesting because this semester they have also this course, but the course named as module name. So there is no course name to say, but I haven't registered that yet. Yeah, I don't want to register that because I don't have good experience before last semester about that behavior experimental economics, and so otherwise it is always the old story about causality and collinearity, but they call it like easy, like causality and so we call that in Chinese like 因果关系, and whether one one infer to another or not, so vice versa. Um, but um, but yeah, and the three factors need to be remembered, like predictor and causa inference and satisfaction. What satisfaction every childhood education? That is not this, and that is some definition else, and I should check that later in the PowerPoint. Otherwise, it is like it is like this symbol means, from my perspective, my point of view, my perspective is that like CEO in that time, like the Chinese cosmetic company, and which they have this double gun, and and but I wondering and why the professor put that into the double. Yeah, I shouldn't say that, professor. So why is double gun instead of just one? And this symbol means that when you have too many deceleration, and you should give up some, because that to fulfill all the deceleration, that is not possible decelerations, so to say. And then and Pool is with Einflusszeichnung in my seminar Arbeit by Professor Lars Winkelmann in my bachelor studies, and that was easy, and in Starbucks like whole afternoon, and accomplished that into 21 year. And otherwise it is like causality and DB was really matters, and identifications assumption. And so this is like so my, yeah, okay, fine, Landhausgrundwarte like Liuhu, and because it's delta E it's not delta, and it is Liuhu Park, my hometown's one theme park, and that's in Sims, and D same as 1 and equal to 0. Make no sense. And the reason is interesting when you kind of automatic processing this kind of whole picture, and then you will notice that just now, like almost 18 hours far from the lecture when it ends, and it got like D double D, and the Darius still around the corner, and how amazing. And I really did this semester, that's not relevant with your any course, and I really don't know why double D is still there. And so D is equal to 1 and D is equal to 0. Yeah, so the D is true value, yeah. Same as Ortega, yeah. And yeah, from my point of view. And so yeah, okay, fine. And while the lecture, and they got the ATE. ATE is another module name that is economic theory advanced, and it is by the Professor Peter Han, and by Professor Dancer, the Professor Rin Dancer, and this is all the local professors. And so it's not like some new and external professorship that the first recent this year added into, and so that it's kind of fun and funny to perceive in this way. And so one thing I wrote like really uh, 322. The reason is that they using the writing style was like y0, but that is y small o, and d d equal to 1, and y1 d. Okay, that's this that means conditional on d equal to 1, and so d is 1 1, and etc. 1. um so the D determines grades, and usually the Albanians will determine as 3.7, but this year they could make that in another way, like. And okay, fine. And then what else? It is like confounding. Confounding means that you can double folded it, like from both sides. Confounding, and But finally, I noticed that confounding is the word in the grassroots Chinese governance in the literature's lowers the footnotes in that possession, and I was a little bit shocked because co-funding, crowdfunding, um, it is a very difficult word, and finally found that it's in kind of a before course, so I haven't really have the interest about that. And co-funding, from my point of view, you can also think like two funds, and one is like Red Leaves, right, Hongshan, Jijing, and another one you can think of Get Fund, for example. But I won't name myself as in funds because I don't want to be physicalized or some quantified in this sense. And another one is that NATO bad schools. So that is bad schools, but this is so wrong, and the reason is this kind of bad schools was appeared in the Miko professor's lecture and in the second lecture, but she named that as the first lecture. So I was very confused about this point. Like 21st is the first lecture, but the notes already in the PowerPoints, and it means that they are not beginning from the first week instead of second week, and so it could be the blackboard is wrong, or the notes is from last year, but last year is not possible. So that's really matters, but the content of the Miko professor was converted into, and so that is plus and playlist plus. So here is matters because different courses was converged together and better to separate them. And this interesting because the United Bank of America and just converges into with small sector, and this course still not started yet and at 18th November 2025. And national distribution, that is Staat und Allokation, like state and allocation. But if, for example, like on the class, I was thinking about something with the Peking University's classmates like Jin Danyang, and was directly thinking, oh cool, that is Guo Pei, but it's really funny, right? You like genetic, your genetic distribution or genetic entanglement or genetic whatsoever, and then afterwards it is like 10 page of 45, and it is like regression and regression discontinuity study, and from last year Professor Mark Stein had course, and this semester because I have a little bit part about professor notes, that's why I just think about 毁断了肠子. This is never ever appeared in my notes, but they using that to describe. And otherwise, it is like rational inference. That's so boring because rational, like you, if you only want to using like 2.7, and then you can continue, but rationality will not be very interesting. But rational consumption decision was one government funding project in Hawu, and so that yeah, additional evidence and do not. So yeah, that is a test, I guess. So and then afterwards it is ATT. ATT is um, uh, from Yahoo Finance that you can find that ATT is 唇膏，然后那个桃色的那个唇膏，然后一个圆的可以拧开的那个，然后是那个，然后是那个 ATT，然后就是那个telecommunication company and is very relevant. Yeah. And here is something and which in the PowerPoint, and here for example like the webmail when you want to log in my portal, university portal, and then you have this and you just reverse the characters in this kind of way and guess what they are, and this lack of the area which lack of is the grades when they grading, and so that will be like this or that here. all that. Yeah. So, and downside profile, and I don't love to use that. A reason is the meaning of Chinese not very well, because downside is when you done something badly and haven't allowed in you using the downside profile, but here is downside profile here is yeah, here they wipe out one and only left one, so to say. And if I here is the 19th page is FC and browser plan red button and call and etc. And here is that we need have the new student card like validity and in certificate. I feel like before class almost end and the preference bill examination office for higher need was converted into and totally reverse the certificate, because certificate you should link in this way when you have a clause like your name and datum that was slash and slash and then you can kind of like make this like a big kite like a 大风筝 and then you can have the road to your grades, right? That's kind of an implicit road. And otherwise Tennessee and Tennessee is Professor Pseudo, right? That's really very hard. Okay, fine. That's the yesterday's. They still have a lot of content. And then afterwards we got AERG, but I haven't understood what that means. And then afterwards they are saying like it is like American Economic Review, but yacht, and it's really funny. And SES was also appeared in the Professor Yang's course like social economic status, and etc. and low income and consequences long term, published library and a library problem, and e-books performance of students and some RCT and etc. Okay, fine. That's all, and we just need to put that into our YouTube channel, and yeah, fine.